Now back to what we were discussing. Thank you for coming back. Vanguard Invasion 666. This is part 2 of the god Dionysos, concerning the god of wine and how it plays into biblical perspective for our today. So we get back to the date of when this is going to take place. It's going to take place on 4/20 of this year, 2011, to where this Kachina, myself, is going to go forward to take off this mask that I've been wearing and actually dance in the plaza, and that plaza being a courtroom in Harrisonburg, Virginia on April 20th, 2011. So with all of that, and with the things that I am bringing forward, and the proof that I have for our time today, because even with the Hopi Indians, that they are looking for this person to come forward to be able to be a writer, to be able to read these ancient scriptures of what needs to take place, of what the phallic god actually is, and also concerning what it has to do, the power of the sun, which I claim is the 666 of the fire that we have within inside of ourselves that will make a burning prophecy come true, that we would be able to change the vibration of our planet to that negative, what we see every day, to something positive. It's kind of like that movie, that cartoon Monsters, Inc., where they found out at the end when they make the kids laugh, they got more energy for their planet and the planet actually thrived better. That's exactly what I want to teach people to do and give them a place to do it at. That's why I have the land and the resources and the water to be able to provide this. But it also, he has to carry the sign of the swastika. And we all know, last time we always think about it, we don't realize the swastika means, I think it was well-being, benevolence, and something like that. But this is an important thing concerning it with KKK, the Nazi sign. It's important for us to understand that every religion and belief has some certain symbols and things that they're looking for. This one just happens to be for them, but it also ties in with the Mayan calendar of the December 2012, all issued by the state of Colorado to me, Pastor Dion Benjamin Herrera. And it makes it kind of nice that I didn't have to go out and get something like this to try to make a facade about something that I got, because not only this, I got the real word of what is taking place, and I'm using a Christian Bible to prove something that other religions are looking for, just like with the Buddhists or with people that the Taoists and stuff. And you know, the Lord Shiva, he's the Lord of destruction, the Lord of darkness as well. A lot of people know that there's a great love vibration going to come in, but it's going to come in through a way that makes it seem wrong. But here's a couple of other signs. But we'll go on. Revelations 19:12. His eyes were as a fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And as the role as vegetation deity is obvious, he introduced the grapevine and taught the secrets of its cultivation and of fermenting wine. Dionysus is also associated with the fir tree and with the ivy, and his symbol is the Thesaurus. Water is also an important part of Dionysus' domain. With this particular thing, it's real important for me to let you know that Dionysus was, when he was young, him and his foster mother were attacked and chased, and so what Dionysus did was he fled into the sea. And this goes into prophecy with what Jesus spoke about in Matthew 16:4. A wicked and an adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. Sign of the prophet Jonas. Here's somebody, myself, been preaching the gospel since 1977, getting ready to always continue to run from those things of God, which I know that I've always desired to do, and it's always been my greatest hope to be able to service the people that I've always been around. But I've always been running from God in a sense, whether it's through my past, through my DUIs, my drug addictions, my problems with the law that I'm going through right now, which are really not problems. But it's just part of prophecy, I should say. But I am that man of God that has the knowledge of God in order to be that man of sin that brings a change around for people to look at the gospel in a different way. But as the prophet Jonas was prophesied for him to be 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a whale, it's the same thing that it's been with me for the last 3 years of time that I've spent in jail through many cities here in Colorado. Over the various same things of a petty offense that seems to have placed me in such a peculiar way that I was able to realize more things concerning the Bible, which opened my spirit up for this time, for it to be shared unto you this year. But we look at the definition of the word Jonas. The last definition for the word Jonas is Strong's Hebrew word 3196, which means wine. And I had to laugh when I seen that. I thought, here's the prophet Jonas, and I looked up his name, went all the way down through the variations of definitions, which you can look on your Apple iTouch if you download the application Blue Letter Bible, and just take a look through the concordance. And it shows that Jonas in the New Testament, Jonas, the last definition is Y-A-Y-I-N. And it means wine. And this actually ties back to my teaching here with the sign of Dionysos being the god of wine. So, Dionysos also feels at home in the water. That is his element. And notice my date of birth, February 20th, 1970. It is the sign of Pisces. And like him, Dionysus also bears a dual nature, being bright, joyous, and vital for life. Also, while having a side that is very dark, mysterious, and deadly. And if we look into the scriptures in Amos chapter 5, verse 20, it says, "Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness, and not light, even very dark, no brightness in it at all?" So, we could see that the story goes on to say that Dionysus paid a visit to the house of a horticulturist, and with this, he left with this man a vine plant, telling him that by following the instructions, he would be able to extract from that plant an unusual drink. And that's exactly what I've done here with the teaching concerning about exalting the phallus and the longing of love, the third Jesus, the many things that I'm going to bring forth for you. But it was only because of this ability that I had in order to look into the scriptures to be able to teach in such a level that it would be indisputable to any theologian that would take a look. Any 10-year-old with an Apple product could look on his little thing and punch it in and say, what Pastor Dion Benjamin Herrera states is true in that Bible concerning the phallus. They would know. We don't have to lie to anybody concerning it. But it's the god Dionysus that brings forth this Christian gospel in order to allow it to be what we need it to be, of this new wine that's going to be able to be this unusual drink. Isaiah 24:7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, and all the merry-hearted do sigh. And I feel bad everywhere I go. I see people just longing for love, and they don't even know how to talk to people. And I'm like watching people look at people, and I'm like, let me show you how to talk. Let me be like Cupid. Pew! But I never realized if I could bottle it, I could sell it. But Dion Herrera has always sold his own product throughout all of his endeavors of being self-employed. And right now, I got a dandy. I got something nobody else could ever offer you. That is 666. Matthew 9:17, neither do men put new wine into old bottles, or else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. So this new teaching must only go into the last of the people that are here for this generation. So that way we could create something that is so tremendous that they never saw such an explosion on the face of this planet through the vibration of love. Not lust, but love. So this new teaching has to go into new people, which are the last in line. And it shall come to pass in that day, says Joel 3:18, that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with water, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim. And here we see the word Judah means phallus. So the phallus shall flow with water. Wait back for 3.